Hello everyone, RamblePack64 here, and today I'm going to be discussing the Metroid Prime 4 Beyond trailers, primarily the new one, just to give some of my thoughts ahead of the game's release. For those of you unfamiliar with me, which is going to be a lot of you, I'm a huge Metroid fan. It is my favorite Nintendo property. It's probably the only one that really keeps me buying a new Nintendo system just because I love it and you can't get it anywhere else. And there's technically not a game that I don't like. Even Metroid Other M, I have a hate-love relationship with it. And Federation Force is a decent idea at the wrong time executed in a suboptimal way. So I don't dislike a Metroid game. I enjoy playing all of them. It's just some of them I really wish were done differently or had other issues fixed. But for Prime 4, I've been very excited, and I usually don't allow myself to get this hyped for something when it's ahead of release. You don't know what you're getting until you've seen it. You don't know how it's going to be executed until you've played it yourself, and that's true even now. But admittedly, there were concerns. The funny thing is, I didn't have the concerns other people did. So we're going to look at first the original announcement trailer. And here, firstly, I was surprised this is running on Switch 1, because as far as how the Switch looks, these visuals look incredible. And we're not going to watch the whole trailer. I'm just going to discuss some things that people had been very negative on, very worried about, is this big cinematic opening. Like, even recently, Kit and Krista was talking about this with the opening demo, where it's so much action, so much of the cinematic stuff instead of the isolation. And I think this is fine as an introduction. I'm not worried in that regard. It's a nice sort of like get you in there, get you excited, and introduce the big threats, or at least the what you think are the big threats. Like, we know the space pirates are heavily involved, and we know now that Silex is going to be involved, right? So this isn't something that's cause for concern for me, especially when you get to the end, towards the end of the trailer, and we get this serene look at, and this music too, this beautiful music that is so fitting, so right for the series. This is all right. That's like, this is what Metroid Prime should look like. And I wasn't worried yet. If anything, I was excited, right? Because honestly, I don't mind this big. I don't mind seeing stuff like this. I don't mind seeing like the Space Pirates and the Galactic Federation fighting with one another. Even though Prime 3 had a lot going wrong with it. And even Metroid Prime 2 Echoes had stuff like this, right? Like, you had moments where Space Pirates were, at battle with Dark Samus and stuff. And here you get, it's mostly the same thing. I don't mind it so long as it's not the focus, as long as they're not trying to turn Metroid into Halo or into Call of Duty. And when we got to the second trailer, it definitely seems that way. And this is what people thought. Like, I thought, the gimmick was psychic abilities. And you even see they added to her suit this weird third eye thing up here. And it's like, okay, how do we try and vary up our typical usual upgrade thing? And instead of making them all beam operated or scanner visor operated, it's not that much different, but it's fine. It's fine. Like, okay, we're doing psychic abilities now. They're going to open doors. They're going to be useful in combat. That's fine stuff. I'm fine with that. And even here, you can see, okay, and we have our Luminoth kind of equivalent. And I'm fine with that. Luminoth did not ruin Echoes in any way, shape, or form. But you look and we're seeing mostly this vegetative forest, rainforest biome, jungle biome. That's our great focus here. With this Luminoth sort of race being like, okay, this might be a different biome, or oh, we do have confirmation, of course, that Metroids are back. Of course they're back. This was teased at Federation Force as well, that it's got to be something that the Galactic Federation needs to be cloning Metroids still all the time. But we only saw this one biome. And that's fine. It's like, okay, we're seeing stuff that's in the opening hours of the game. You're not spoiling anything that's real deep in there. But then we come across to the new trailer. And this is what I'm really going to analyze and dissect, because some people don't understand my concern with open world in a Metroid game and with just the look of this stinking bike. And especially, I'm one of those rare old curmudgeons that I love the movie Akira. I love the Akira bike slide. But the Akira bike slide no longer means, hey, do you know this movie? And it's, hey, I know the meme too. I have the internet. And so I'm sick of seeing it. They haven't shown it off here in any way, shape, or form. So, but no, here we go. We got our big open world. And this is where I'm first going to pause. Because firstly, this is just a big expanse of nothing, and that's so much of a waste of space, and it's a waste of time to try and travel across. I don't understand the idea that this is somehow making things better. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes had a hub world to different biomes without wasting your time with big nothingness. And then you have even Darksiders 3, right? Like Darksiders 3 has what I think is one of the best 3D Metroidvania kind of maps. And it doesn't require a big open world. It has multiple different biomes that all interconnect with one another. So any arguments that this is somehow going to make an improvement, like the only way I can see it is, again, non-linearity. But you play Darksiders 3, and Darksiders 3 allows non-linearity in there without having to have an open world. So no, what I do see, though, is that storm area that was in the beginning of this trailer. Like you could see it here in the little preview. That's over here. And that jungle that the first two trailers focused on, that's over here. So this is clearly a sort of hub, a biome hub that you're going to be just driving through the desert. But this is where, when people talk about like the Breath of the Wild design, this little facility here, and again, you see the jungle biome. This is clearly another biome that we're going to be looking at later in the trailer. This is our shrine. This is the equivalent of our shrine. You're going to need some kind of an upgrade or something in order to get in there and get whatever missile upgrade or whatever is in there. And it's going to be some little puzzle, and it's ultimately going to be one of those it's a dopamine hit. It's something where if you're easily pleased by dopamine hits, every dopamine drip you get, then sure, yeah, but it could easily be implemented into a tighter, more compact world. And yes, I realize I'm just a boomer that's yelling at clouds. But that's clearly what that is. Another little glimpse. And here we get another... This could be a biome. This could be a structure. Don't know yet. Again, we have another biome that we're going to look at over here. But this is, again, that sort of facility, that wind shrine. You're getting that shrine that you're going to go to. You're going to complete a little tiny puzzle. And you're going to get like 5 extra missiles. Or maybe 3. Who knows? And here, this is going to factor in later as well. It looks like a door to an entrance to that biome, and we're going to see something like that later. Naturally, what they really want to show off is the bike combat. You're definitely going to be fighting Psylocke on the bike at some point. But what they really want you looking, what I want you to look at is this here, where basically whatever this is, and we're going to see it later, is going to serve as a transit. So again, even if we're talking hub world, it's already been done with elevators. Metroid Dread did it with trains as well and stuff like that. You're just creating a big expanse of emptiness. And this is where I guess people compared to Ocarina of Time had Hyrule Field. But then people rightfully, I think, like Hyrule Field was great at the time because you didn't see much like that. Like it was just a big open field. Very few games are able to handle that kind of a big expanse. But Hyrule Field was filled with a whole lot of nothing. And while it was great at the time, can you really go back and say Hyrule Field is great today? And the only thing that keeps it what it is because it is comparatively smaller. What we're looking at on screen probably could fill up the entirety of Hyrule Field from the N64 era, right? Or at least a good chunk of it, a good half of it. But anyways, this here is your transit door that grants you access to the hub, to the next biome. You see enemies all over. you get that transit hub to that biome again, and then over here we have the jungle, and you got the storm area here. So they're technically letting you see there are three, and here we go. This is once you've entered, and this is going to be our transition screen. This is our loading screen, right? So we go back, you go into something like this, right? You go into that little door, and that door takes you to this little kind of an area where you're driving, you're going down a ramp, and you see there's a door even further down, and now you get this loading screen. This is the equivalent of Samus in an elevator waiting to go from one biome to the next. And so again, all we're doing is adding a time-wasting element to Metroid by adding an open world. And again, this bike looks so silly. I don't even know what this thing's supposed to be. Like, maybe it's going to have some kind of power later, but it looks like a random 3D asset just jammed into the side of the wheel well, or whatever you call that. I don't know. But that's, again, old man yelling at clouds. But my ultimate point is we're not really adding anything but time wasting with this open world. And now we get to the good part. Now we get to where you're playing a tightly controlled, a tightly designed space where you're having interesting combat, you have interesting things to see, interesting environments, arenas to navigate and combat in. This is the Metroid that people want to play. This gives me two questions. This is either one big arena, so this arena exists purely for this fight against all these different wolf things, or this tundra is a second open world territory. The thing is, I don't know. I would lean against it. I would lean towards this just being an arena fight. Then, of course, you have more of the Luminoth stuff. We have more psychic abilities. That's just a grappling beam. And again, we have stuff that looks good. This looks like all good Metroid Prime goodness. Sylux is going to be our Dark Samus of this game. And so my initial reactions are all negative. I don't like the look of the bike. The bike doesn't look right. I'll just edit in footage of Metroid Prime Hunters. Weevil had a hovercraft, and it looked fitting for the setting, right? Like, conceptually, they're the same thing. They're this, like, single-person, speedy mode of navigating. But the cycle, like, Metroid is so sci-fi that putting something modern day like a motorcycle in feels out of place. So I'm going to put in the Weevil hovercraft. Something like that would have at least felt proper for the setting. A motorcycle just feels weird. And of course, naturally, there's the comparison where, hey, Breath of the Wild had a bike. Guess what else needs a bike? And I think that's our big concern. Like, there's a lot of people that have already noticed Nintendo has a sort of that one game that they're chasing. Donkey Kong Bonanza kind of fits it. And you have, and even thinking with Eiji Aonuma talking about Zelda and playing a little bit of Echoes of Wisdom, traditional design's kind of gone. They don't want linearity. They don't want you to have this tightly designed experience. They want you to just go in and have like this open sort of, and on paper it sounds great. Like, okay, I can do whatever I want. I can explore wherever I want. But at the end of the day, it doesn't feel as good as a tightly designed challenge. And this is especially terrible because Nintendo was a safe haven away from the trend of the past 20 years of everybody making an open world game. Grand Theft Auto 3 hit, and then everybody had to make a sandbox or an open world game. And now we've got Nintendo's biggest competitor is tablets and phones, because that's where the kids are going for Minecraft and Roblox. So everything's got some kind of skill tree. Everything's got, like, Donkey Kong Bonanza evidently has skill trees. Now it's got roguelite elements with its DLC. Right? Like, and the new Pokemon spin-off is, hey, let's do a Pokemon Minecraft that's not quite Minecraft. Like, it's all of these things rather than Nintendo allowing their games to be what they are. So Metroid Prime 4 is still going to be enough Metroid Prime, but it's like is this the death knell? Is this where And also our monkey paw, right? The monkey paw's finger curls, and for everybody that loves Metroid because it's a tightly designed experience without all the open world bullcrap, now you have to deal with the fact that it has this open world in there that you're going to spend wasting time traversing from one biome to the next for who knows how many seconds. Like, okay, that bike goes fast, but did you see how large that desert was? The one benefit of the doubt I'll try and give it is perhaps the people at Retro Today were thinking, okay, what do people know Metroid for? It's isolation, it's claustrophobic. How about we try and give a different kind of isolation and put you in the middle of a giant desert? And I have no doubt that originally you're going to have to traverse that desert without the bike, at least in some capacity. So you feel the inconvenience of that desert. So you feel burdened and isolated and alone and in this big, oppressive, empty environment. And then you get the bike, and then it undoes all of that because you're on a cool bike that goes really, really fast and locks onto enemies that are everywhere. Like the hazards aren't right for a desert, and it feels wrong here. And I'm the kind of person that, again, I'm fine with Federation Force as a spin-off, right? I'm fine with a game where you play as the Galactic Federation soldiers, right? As long as you have a Metroid game in development, you can give me that spin-off. I don't mind. I don't mind how Metroid Other M tried to change things up. What I mind is that the execution was poor. I'm not so rigid that Metroid can only be XYZ, especially when you consider, again, the evolution of the series, both with Prime 1, 2, 3 and with the 2D games. It's a matter of, does this change fit with the spirit of the rest of the series? And does this change improve things? So does this bike and does this desert feel like Metroid? And just right now, looking at Samus on this bike and like this screenshot, I don't know how somebody can look at this and say, yes, that's what I think of when I think of Metroid. Like, none of it says that. It looks like they dropped Samus into the middle of what, like Utah? I don't know. One of these states has got big deserts. I'm on the East Coast. I've never been out that way. But, I mean, Utah, Nevada, Grand Canyon territory. It's just, it doesn't, none of this looks like Metroid. None of this is appropriate for the setting. And again, like, Metroid Prime Hunters has some of the better teasings of a greater universe. And again, like Weevil's bike, hover bike, whatever you want to call that, looked more appropriate to the setting than this does, right? Like, when you have hovercraft, why do you still have tires? But that all said, all of those concerns, all of those complaints, I will still be getting the game in December. I'll still be playing it. And I'm still going to look forward to it because even though this will be a mark against the game when I play it, because honestly, I'm sick of open worlds. The only open world game I've really invested time into and replayed was Elden Ring, and that is purely on the strength of its gameplay. But as an open world game, Elden Ring is too big. It's got too much padding. There's too much unnecessary fluff because it's open world. And that's the nature of open world design, right? If you're the kind of person that wants to go in there and feel quote unquote immersed because it takes you 5 minutes to get anywhere, then sure. But this here, this is what I prefer. This is like to stop and look at, and just from an environmental standpoint, like we know she goes into the mountain, and the mountain, like you're inside the mountain and that's your lava area. And that's, again, speculation here. But our cold tundra is the same as our lava area, possibly. I mean, again, the way she pulls in, because this isn't the storm territory. This isn't the storm territory at all. This is a new, and it's, again, you get that fog, you get that mist when you come in. It's probably cold outside, but inside, or cold outside, but inside you got the lava, the magma. So, and also, like, well, that's just lighting over there, but that's the feeling I get, that this is, well, no, maybe you're not, because that's an open area too. So, but there you go. That means we don't have a good look at one of the biomes. You don't have a good look at whatever the volcanic biome is. This is probably those, actually, yeah, maybe that's the volcano biome, because then you have, where was the other that we could see? It's like these curved mountains over here. Here we go. These curved mountains. That's probably the tundra. That all is probably the tundra, but it's going to be, I have faith that it will still be a fun game. This is the storm area. So we've got at least 4 different biomes. We've got the jungle, we got the storm area, we've got the volcano, the volcanic area, and we've got the ice cold mountains, plus the desert if you want to count that. So we've got 4 biomes that we know about that we're going to be exploring. Hopefully there's more that they were intentionally not showing. And that would be my guess, is they want you to be able to explore these areas at whatever order you want to, which means in some ways it is an evolution of how Metroid Prime 3 worked, where they wanted to give you 3 different planets to go across. But I don't know. As somebody that laments the loss of the shorter game, the more compact game, the anywhere between 5 to 20 hour game that's easy to replay, easy to go back to, easy to return to, in favor of the game that's 100 hours long, but it's because all the development time went into an open world, so the combat mechanics had to suffer. It's completely, the balance is thrown off. It's so much padding of just traveling around. Like, I don't like the sign that they're going open world with Metroid, and it's the sign that, again, the only way we're going to get new games is if they somehow implement more Breath of the Wild isms. And I don't like that. That's not what Metroid is. Metroid is the exact opposite of what Breath of the Wild was. And as someone that, again, I lament the loss of traditional Zelda, that is, here's your dungeons, go at them. And again, like, A Link Between Worlds showed how you could do that non-linearly and still be a good game, and still be an interesting game. So, I'm concerned. I'm hoping this is still a really good game, but this was a bad surprise. This was not what I wanted to see in Metroid Prime 4. I just wanted a release date, and I got monkey-pawed with, here's a whole bunch of crap that goes against everything that everything that made Metroid your favorite, one of your favorite franchises, and your favorite Nintendo franchise. So, and if you're happy with it, if you think I'm just an old man yelling at cloud, get with the times, old man, or some garbage like that, I mean, happy for you. You can just enjoy your copy-paste template stuff if that's what you really want in your gaming. That's not me, right? Like, of all the experimentation they could have done, this was not the direction I wanted Metroid to ever go. But I guess I was warned. There were rumors that there was going to be an open world some years ago, and here we are. Well, that's it from me. Thanks for checking in, listening this whole way. If you did, leave a comment telling me how wrong and old I am, or leave a comment telling me how old you are and how much you agree with me. And I guess check out some of my videos if you're here. All right. But thank you very much. And for all my 5 longtime subscribers that are still following me, don't worry, I am working on something. It's just, as usual, it takes me 8 million years to make one video. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.